Welcome to the Global Exclusive Podcast. Today, we have an exciting podcast day because, unlike Gumi, we actually put effort into our podcast and have a guest today. Isn't that right, Musbel?
Oh, hey, welcome back, Sinzar.
Yeah, we've got some great guides for some JP content and some global content, some trials and everything. No, I'm joking. I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, our guest today is Flip Method. He's known as the medius person. How are you doing, Flip?
Pretty good. I've always wondered how that was pronounced, whether it was medius, medius, or whatever. But Gumi's
I
never
always,
told us, so
I always assumed it was Medius, but
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I'm not
yeah.
sure. I don't think this is the kind of burning lore question that they're ever going to answer.
I
See,
suppose so.
if
Pronun-
we never got 7-star, what was the 7-star vote in Duran? Was it that we were supposed to get from FanFest or something? We're never gonna get this
Uh,
answered.
Dwayne.
Dwayne, yeah, that's the one. But if you had a choice of Flip, if you had a choice of medias getting an NV, would you prefer it to being MV with a Brave Shift or MV with a SLB?
does the SLB come with a kit?
Yes.
The SLB gives you a buff that increases XP gain from battles.
Oh, so it's growth egg. Okay, great. Yeah. Absolutely. I'll take that.
Okay. For those of you that don't know or haven't been around since the dawn of time in FFBE, this is the dude that took on trials with like 6 different mediuses and tried to make it work.
And for those who don't know who Medius is, because why would you know who Medius is? He is a 3-star base unit that is absolutely terrible, and he got a global exclusive 6-star awakening.
That was so weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of the weirder things they've ever done.
On the
They did it
Christmas banner, no less.
Yeah, they did it for a few other units too. Shao and Sirius, right?
Medius
Mm-hmm.
was pretty good though, because of his
No,
surprise 6-star buff.
no, he wasn't.
No. It was fun to use him. I used him.
He got barrage and like a 4-hit skill with
Hey,
like these frames are the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, they are.
hey, it's okay. But welcome Flip to the podcast. But today we're going to talk about the units that came out this week, the exciting units of Citra MV base MVA and Sage of Thunder Sakura. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about here.
Oh yeah. So, what do you want to start, Muspel? Which who we talking about first?
We can start with Citra.
Yeah.
She heals for a lot, like a hilarious amount. I did some math, like without any STMRs or anything, she can heal your team for like 800,000 per turn.
And that's without any like abilities, or is it just passively?
No, that's with triple casting her heal,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
quad casting.
Uh,
But yeah, unfortunately she does literally nothing else.
She's a light Terra in her Brave Shift form.
Oh yes, literal light Terra. But without Terra's damage. I'm
yeah.
trying to remember how much damage she actually does. Let me pull up the spreadsheet real quick, but it's not great. Um,
Does evoke damage. Let's see.
burst damage is going to be about 15 to 20% lower than Ferris, and Ferris is already like significantly less than half of Terra.
Not impressive at all, no, is it?
Yeah. Also, she uses staves, right? So good luck finding an imperil for that. So yeah, you're not using her for damage. You're not using her for healing because why would you? You're not using her for her support because it's bad. The only way that she ever sees any use is if in the next Clash of Wills season they do that thing that we saw in the original preview where they do that modifier that
Healing
reduces
reduction?
healing done, and then they make it so that the bosses like actually hit hard and you need a lot of healing to keep up. Because in that situation, she's like one of the few units that might be able to keep your team topped off. But she does, like I said, nothing else aside from that.
If healing done was a parameter, then Kresnik would be amazing.
Crescent doesn't actually heal for all that much.
No, but he would fill the gauge as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, but
yeah.
like if you're trying to optimize the numbers of the healing that you do in some way, then Kresnik is like he's not bad, but he's nowhere near Citra.
But Citra is more of a meme than
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
actual
she
serious.
she
So,
she is not good. Don't use her. Don't pull for
hey,
her.
hey, I checked. I had 16 Citras in my
I think I
inventory.
I think I had like 9, which is about 9 too many.
Yeah. She was never good in her 5 stars. She's not good now. So this is sad life if you're ever a Citra fan.
Yeah,
The only time
there
Citra
is
was
no
ever
one
good
at
was
Alum or Gumi that has ever put a single bit of thought into what she is or what she's supposed to do.
even when she was the Veritas of the Light. So such as
Veritas the Light unit was a little usable when it came out.
yeah,
Veritas
but
of the
the
Light had a brief moment of relevance for Rumble of Malboro because she was one of the only AoE chainers in the game.
wasn't she light locked?
Hybrid.
Yes, which was not great because Rumble of Malboro was innately resistant to light, but you could give her like a fire weapon or something and imperil the boss, and it worked. And there were like only 4 or 5 damage dealers that could do that fight, so she was one of them.
Yeah, so Citra is probably one of the more useless NVAs we have gotten, but it still reduced my 16 Citras into 1. So that's
She
been
she is one of the few units where her Brave Shift, like, it makes sense for her to have a Brave Shift with a different sprite because she puts on her armor.
yeah, but then let's be a little honest. All these Veritas of the like Veritas characters, they're just using their old sprite again. Like,
Yeah,
so not that
yeah,
impressive.
it's not exciting.
But I have a question. I haven't seen the numbers on this, but the increased modifier 50x to all magic attacks in her regular form, that doesn't help her for like for Raga or anything like that, does it?
It should actually. I think it affects like everything, including skills that aren't innately in her kit. Which I guess brings up something else that I forgot about, which is Lakshmi has a skill called Demonic Whisper or something, which restores MP. Hang on,
I
I'm
don't know
gonna
where you're
look it
going
up.
with this. I have no idea
Oh,
how you're.
it goes interesting places, I promise. Okay, so Demonic Whisper refreshes 10 MP with a 0.3x modifier split over 3 turns to one ally. Now, if you increase that modifier by 50, then suddenly it's restoring an absolute fuck ton of MP. Something like 6,000 per turn, I think, was what somebody mathed out. Now, that's still not useful, because it's single target, and I don't think you can multicast it, but it's there.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's the sort of exciting content people listen to this podcast for.
Yeah, you could also like try to do it with other magic attacks that have like really low modifiers that you could try to exploit in some way, like Osmos. You can make her absorb crazy amounts of MP,
Holy shit!
which
Was
but that's not useful because Osmos is single target, so that's not going to help you in arena. Not that you should use Osmos in arena. And bosses don't care about their MP unless it's Skeleton King, who hasn't been around in years. So
I'm impressed of how
yeah,
you're
I'd like
stressing
to see him
this.
in Clash of Wills, though.
yeah. I mean, there's ways that Citra could end up being relevant, but it feels like they're accidents. I don't think that Alum intended any of this stuff when they made that modifier boost passive. I think they just thought she was a damage dealer because they don't know anything about her kit. So,
All right.
yeah, we can now move on to the other unit on the banner.
Well, hold on. Sage of Sakura came out, but Nicole got his EX3 buffs, EX2 buffs, didn't he? This time around?
Did he?
Yeah, pretty sure he did. Somebody might need to fact check me on that, but
I
what's that,
don't
Nicole?
I don't see them on the wiki.
Oh, really? I remember reading it in the news. Maybe not. Okay, well, let's talk about Sakura first.
I think I have him actually. Let me double check in game.
Oh, you have him? You pull for him?
No, but I pulled him off banner.
Okay.
I'm in a battle right now, so
I have him
we can get back to
EX3,
that
so
later after we're done talking about Sakura.
Yeah, let's talk about Sakura first. Well, Sakura is basically a lightning Nicole, and
Yes.
that's about the most interesting thing you can say about her.
Identical in almost every way.
Um,
There's really only 2 changes. The first one is that she doesn't have an imperil, instead she has an ailment immunity buff. And the other thing is that she unlocks a bigger killer buff at EX3, which Nicole might have. I think he had that in JP, but we're about to find out if he has it in GL once I can check my roster.
yeah. There's nothing much to say except lightning team, fantastic.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I'm less than thrilled with this. Like, with units like Xelli's, I was kind of hoping that they would try to make more interesting supports that weren't just an imbue and an amp and nothing else. But nope.
she has Chaos Wave Awakening. Um, I think that's about it.
Everybody has Chaos Wave Awakened. You can get it with Irinia's Ring.
And she has Bolting Strike. So,
I mean, the killers change, but it's still the same numbers.
hmm
Uh,
so exciting.
okay,
Good job, Alem.
so
Good
yes,
job.
I'm seeing a skill here on Nickel that unlocks EX3. I don't have it, but it's
It's
160%.
completionist stance.
Is it the killer? It's probably should be the killer.
It's called Aquatic Slayer,
Oh,
which is a very creative name. Do you want to guess what it does?
Is it bird? Is that a bird killer? I think it's a bird killer.
Yes, it helps you kill birds.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. So technically,
well, he has EX2 ability which is also on there.
Oh, I guess I already have that, so it doesn't, like, it just shows it unlocked to me. What does this thing do?
Warring Spirit.
200% stat buff for all allies, 100% LB damage boost, fire resist, and evocation gauge fill, and it looks like it's spammable. So, like, it fills the evoke gauge by 7, and it's an LB damage boost. That's not nothing.
that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not the worst.
Okay, so I revised my statement on Sakura. She is not Nicole, she is a worse version of Nicole.
Man, I have no idea who's ever gonna pull for this banner. Like, who?
Whales.
Do we have a lightning DV coming up?
I don't know.
She's
Might have,
actually
like,
useful
flash.
against the Terra or the Tetra event that's going on right now, but the Chronicle battle.
Oh, is she? Yeah, I bet she is. Yeah, but the Chronicle battle. I mean, it's a permanent thing, right? So if you
Yeah, she gives Fairy Killer. It's a fairy and it's lightning weak.
can't you use old Sakura for that, like the old CG Sakura? Does that work? I wonder. Because doesn't old CG Sakura have lightning imbue in peril? I thought she did.
Yeah, she does.
Well,
I think her immune might be single target though, unless you got a new one at NBA.
I mean, if you're
Wow.
looking for lightning imbue and lightning imperil on an FFBE unit, you could just use 5-star conch.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
I've managed to block out like everything about Blossom Sage Sakura's NVA from my memory because it was so bad. Let's see what she does.
But it's getting that imbue and imperil with the fairy killer is what she can do.
Yeah, it looks like BS Sakura's imbue is single target, not AoE.
Sad.
So now we can talk about Light Sage of Thunder's Sakura's TM, STMR, and Vision card.
Your favorite topic of the day now, isn't that?
Oh yeah. The TM is like an event materia. It's bad.
At what point did they decide that the Esper synergies needed to be bad? Because the first few that came out, they were great. You get like Phoenix synergy or Lakshmi synergy. They can be useful. You could use those.
Yeah,
I
you're right.
feel like they were always kind of a mixed bag. There were some that were good, like, but what was it? War Hero Reagan's was, not
No, I
great.
remember Reagan's being pretty good, wasn't it?
Reagan's was like 60% attack and 25% true dual wield,
Oh,
right?
no.
Am I misremembering that?
Not so sure.
Let me
Let's
double
check.
Yeah, 60% attack and 25% true dual wield, and it was like weapon conditional, so you had to use 2 different weapons.
Oh, I looking at them, they have almost the exact same synergy too.
Hey, Alem, stop getting lazy. Thanks.
Yeah, like there were a few good ones. Like Tetra Sylphid Physalus's was great. Uh, Lakshmi Lids was fine. Jake's was weird but had its uses. I'm trying to remember what other Esper units there even were. Were those the only 4?
Ifrit Rain.
Oh right. What did his do? I think it
Bahamut
sucked.
synergy.
Oh, Bahamut's Synergy was great though.
Range is not great. 50% attack with a great sword, 2 LB autofill, 30% fire resist. Like it's not useless, but that's pretty narrow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they also have the same STMR. Holy crap.
Peak design. Peak design. All right.
This is like this might be the worst of the synergy materia.
But what
'Cause
about her
it's
STMR?
It's silence resist. Like LB fill rate is not super common for materia, but it's way more common than it used to be. Her STMR is it has spirit and plant killer, which is great, except that it has no attack or magic. It does have spirit, so like if you're using Aerith
Shui Liu.
or
Shui
God,
Yi.
or God help you if you're using Citra, then okay, fine. But
Fish Lady.
otherwise, Fish Lady? That could
Yeah.
refer to like 4 different people.
Shui Yu? Or what was that? The Chinese
What?
the Chinese New Year unit. What was that name?
Shui Yu. Yeah.
Yeah, the MV, yeah. Doesn't she have an SPR build going on in there? So I mean,
Technically, yes, but it wasn't good.
never said it was good.
It wasn't good when she came out, and I'm sure it's less good now with all the power creep we've seen. But yeah, Aerith might want this in rare cases. I don't think anybody else ever does. And then the card is.
Garbage.
It feels like one of these random cards that you get from just summoning an NV. If you told me this was a unit-specific card, I would not believe you.
Hey, it has 800 HP though.
Yeah. The 800 HP isn't terrible.
like the 800 HP 80 SPR isn't the worst thing in the world. Like if I think that's what Snow's card was, 800 HP and 80 SP, maybe. I forget. But it's just the magic is terrible. Like the magic is 80. Like, they didn't know what they were doing with this. Like they just threw stats at a wall and thought it made sense, which
They
it
were
did.
trying to make a support card.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the abilities, it's like 40% MP and increased resistance to like
I think it's aimed at holy users. The problem is that there's only one holy user, and she's not an FFBE unit.
yeah. So
Uh,
terrible unit, terrible card.
Well, not a terrible unit, just a
Citra
very
has
boring
holy.
unit.
Wow.
Citra has holy, but she doesn't have holy +2,
That's true.
and holy +2 like triples the damage. So
Guys, I think we've scratched like the bottom of the barrel for this week's content because
we passed the bottom of the barrel 10 minutes
okay,
ago.
because they didn't even give us a story event, right? They just gave us some autoing, like whatever this is. I guess
Esper
today
trial thing.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not a trial. You can't
Yeah,
call it that.
Sorry, I should not have called them trials. the Esper pinatas.
you sneeze at it and it dies.
It has
So-
the same. They have the same stats as the 2-star fights. If you actually go back and fight any one of the 2-star espers.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same with Odin and Ashura?
Yes.
Okay.
Asura's actually a 1-star Asura, but yeah.
Okay, now this is very important. Have you beaten these with Medius?
Yes. I did, and then I decided that it was beneath him, and I took in the 1-star. I believe he's 1-star base Ollie, and auto attacked them all to death.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I could basic attack them with a 1-star base. So these were real trials.
Oh yeah.
A single unit.
It's very difficult content.
But the rewards,
Wow.
I won't complain. I mean, I can see where they were going with this. Make them incredibly easy. If you have to do, how many of these do we have to do per day? But
3.
Yeah,
I mean-
if you need these are obviously aimed at newer players or people that at least haven't been doing expeditions for years.
Me.
And haven't maxed their experts.
yeah,
That's me. My Bahamut's still a level 41. So
Like I'm okay with these existing. I think it would make more sense to just update the Chamber of Magicite and the Vortex and
make this a
let
permanent
people
thing.
run that. But I can see this as like a test. Like, is this where we want to go with Espers, or do we want to do something else? And just trying it out as a limited event.
well, I mean, I'll give it the Odin and Asura's test if you want to just farm out stuff to level up your espers, not exactly, complete their board or whatever, but if you're at level 41, you can just run Odin or Asura as many times as you want and get those max tier esper foods and just keep running it. You can max out all your espers today if you wanted to.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's just super sight, right? Not Esper or.
Yeah, it's just super sight, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, there's stuff like Bahamut takes such a ridiculous amount of Magicite to level that it's a good idea to have more sources of Magicite in the game that aren't like as time locked as expeditions are. Obviously, energy is also time locked, but
Less so.
because we get a lot of energy pots and stuff.
Yeah, energy pots are like thrown at us like it's junk. So, yeah, I mean it's a cool idea. It's just I think many people weren't happy with it because they had to trade whatever amount of Lapis story events are for this.
Yeah.
And story events are still missing, I guess.
I mean, in a way, I was kind of happy because I got, a few more nodes awakened on my Bahamut, but I would have rathered the story event. Because I do like the story of the game. It's, kind of one of the reasons I started playing in the first place was to come into an RPG that I could play on my phone and that, the story kept evolving. So I actually like story events. And the fact that we don't get them anymore is kind of like a deterrent for me.
I didn't know that people like the season 3 story.
Well, I never said season 3.
Okay.
Have the story events been better than the season 3 story? I don't know.
What
usually
story
just skipped
events?
Story events.
What
Which
story?
Yeah.
That's true. What was the last story event we got though?
The global exclusive one?
Yeah, Yoshikiri and Elena, or was it Elena? I forget.
Interesting. Because we were supposed to get SBBs back and we did get that back this week. Did you guys do that?
Oh wait, we did. I did
Yeah.
not hear about this.
The Type 0 series boss battle we got this
Yeah,
week.
yeah, we got it this week, and it was supposed to be, what was it? Fixed to our current difficulty level. but
Was
it
it?
wasn't. No, it was not.
Well, it's fixed to non-premium difficulty level.
Yeah, I
So if you
guess.
go in there with Tifa or Sephiroth, then you just smash it open. But if you go in there with other units, then
I finished it with Kurosami, so
I guess so. Well, I mean, Type Zero, the units from the series boss battle do make it easier.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm
I don't.
looking at this boss. Does he really only have?
Yes, correct.
Wow.
His
Okay.
skill set is that small. Yes.
Nice.
I mean, it's a series boss battle. I shouldn't expect much, but
You bring your tank, and you're immortal.
yeah.
Not much to it.
But what they did to make it better for today's climate on global was to just give it more HP, defense, and spirit. Lots
Yeah.
more.
Just give it a T Pearl, which I don't think it. I'm assuming it didn't do that in JP because
No,
this
it did
guy
not.
came out before NVs, right?
It did not do that. That was a change thing, which I think I appreciate.
Yeah. I'm assuming it used to give out UOCs, like because that's what the other SVBs do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good change.
I hope they continue this though, like continue releasing old SBBs just for the sake of fans. Like I still want, like this is cool for Type Zero fans. As I know there's like only 10 of us out there, but like it's good to see the Arbiter out in a different game represented, I guess. So
I'm not sure how many we're missing at this point, though. I mean, I know there's more than one, but let's see. There's. I'm looking at the wiki now. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more.
yeah, it's not a small amount, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyways, I think we've went way beyond what we needed to do for this week. So let's talk about Flip for a second. So Flip, I know you've wanted to be on this podcast for a while, and we, as organized as we are, we were so busy, all so busy, right, Muspel, that we couldn't have him.
I mean, I actually was busy, just not with podcast stuff, and also nobody told me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was all on me. I should, and probably Barrows too. I think Barrows and Cotton knew as
Yeah,
well.
like you and Barros were like, by the way, Flip has been asking to be on the podcast for a while. You don't have any objections, right? And I'm like, why am I just now hearing about this? What, one day before the episode?
Anyways, Flip, why Medius? What started you to start with Medius?
Okay, so why did I pick this one unit sort of as my mascot?
Yeah.
So, it goes back to like whenever I started the game, I pulled him and I was like, oh, he's a great unit. I like his sprite. I like his kid. He looks cool. Kind of a cowboy. I like this. I didn't know anything about I had never played a Final Fantasy game before. I just kind of downloaded this game on a whim.
Oh.
Yeah, right. And now I know everything about Final Fantasy, all the games. But that's what you get for streaming. So I kind of like this little cowboy unit. And he was kind of fun, and everybody was like, "You can't use him. He's bad," and that just kind of made me double down.
And you took that personally?
A little bit. And then it was Christmas, and they gave him the Awakening, and they did an interview with the producer, Rainbow Jacket, Hiroki?
Yep.
Hirono? Hiroki, thank you. And they did an interview with him and asked him what his favorite unit was, and he actually, maybe it was because they just gave him global exclusive Awakenings, but he said that was his favorite. Since then, he said it was Season 3 Fina, and he said it was he changed it for, I think, whatever he's trying to sell. But,
You're bringing out the receipts.
So he said it was his favorite unit, and I was like, well, I really love this game. I'd really like to honor, what he said was his favorite unit, and just, see how much content I can clear with, just one unit. And then after a while, I realized that more so with this game, the units, is the gear is really, really important. The gear from units lives so much longer than the unit itself. Yeah. So, I could still use gear from like Wilhelm's STMR. I could probably still use that on somebody. But Wilhelm himself, I don't even remember what he looks like. I realized, yeah, well, it's fine. I realized that it became sort of more of a gear showcase and what you can do with just properly gearing your units for a trial, and you don't necessarily need the top tier state of the art unit. You just have to have the right gear and the right strategy, and you can take on almost any content.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
Yeah, that was 100% true back in the early days. I think it's less true now just because of like how far power creep has come. Like I'm sure
That
what the hardest thing you've taken down at this point is Armageddon, I think. Maybe there's something since then.
we did do Armageddon. We took down Lich, so we have taken down that recently.
Okay, yeah.
But there's sort of a power level because they started scaling differently. Like it used to be like this last week, a unit did 5 damage, and this week a unit is going to do 6. But they sort of started multiplying, and so now it's more like last week the unit did 5 damage, this week it does 205 damage. So their difficulty scaling works a little differently nowadays.
Something I'm kind of curious about. Like, which item do you think made the biggest difference
Upgrade
to...
package.
Really? I would have expected it would be the Dark Visions weapons, just because of the abilities that let you do so much more damage.
No, actually, the abilities aren't. The abilities are nice, but oftentimes, how long was Terra good for? Right, because she did Evo damage.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, for just gearing properly, we can just summon Bahamut and one-shot most things. So if it's just down to just doing the most damage, for non-elemental Esper damage, it's Bahamut still reigns king. So.
Oh yeah, I guess you generally don't have imbues or anything, so.
But upgrade packages, just if they sold that in like a premium shop in some way, I'd buy more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I missed out on it, and I kind of regret it. The reason that I did leave it out was because of Ravenheart, though. I think Ravenheart has a huge impact, especially early on when TDW was so rare. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ravenheart was amazing, and I think the unit that it was like Malphasi was just a fantastic unit and still
yeah,
loved by the community to this day. Honestly,
she needs an
still a fan
NBA.
favorite.
Have you ever considered picking like not I don't want to say a modern unit, but like a 7-star unit and trying to do the same thing? Like, I don't know, probably somebody
Well,
whose kit is almost as incoherent as Medius's, like Noctis or something. I don't know.
well,
Wait a minute.
Noctis has some useful skills in there, like his stop and things like that. I used to use that in arena all the time. But more so the kit isn't used in almost every trial. If you were to watch all the videos on YouTube, we've almost never used his natural kit. All the equipment, it gives the skills. So things like Calamity Border or Rainbow Whip, things like that. Using breaks from the Espers, so like getting like the 70% new break, which is from Power Break or Magic Break that comes from Shiva. The autofill for or the auto shell and auto bravery, those buffs are huge now. Using things like Aaron Yes Ring and Quad Chaos Wave Awakening chains, it's incredible the stuff that you can do with just gear alone. So the only thing you really need if you're just doing that is a unit's base like stats. So if I was going to be upgrading to like a 5-star base, I would be just picking based on more so their base stats and passives probably. What
Wow.
has been his best feature that has made him easier to gear for some trials has been actually his passive draw attacks. But if I was going to
Yeah.
pick a new unit to do this with, I'd probably pick a tank. Somebody who can use like cover.
Not a breaker, or do you think that would be cheating?
Well, we have so many breaks coming down the line, and I'm honestly really excited for what they're doing with JP content right now with Trust Masteries, where the STMR is sort of it's a new piece of gear. Like our STMRs are always great, but we kind of like with Sakura that we just got, the Trust Mastery is kind of lackluster, and you're probably never going to use it. But what they've started to put out is that the Trust Masteries are like a skill that the unit might teach to the rest of the team. Right now on JP, they're unit locked, so like if it's a tank skill, it only can be equipped on tanks, but we'll see if that changes, similar to Zidane's STMR changed when it came to global. But I really like the idea of the equipable skills coming from units, and that really being able to change up playstyle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a really deep understanding and like of not just the game mechanics, but like of the kits of people, the kits of all the units rather, to do what you do. So keep doing it as best as you can, without power creep ever like fucking us up, I guess. So with that said, I know that we're heading up towards quite a bit of maximum time. Is there a preferred place where people can reach you at Flip?
They can reach me at twitch.tv/flip_method, so flip method, or they can check me out, Flip Method, on YouTube.
Awesome, Flip. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us today. I know the content was bare.
Yeah.
It was super bare, but if we call you out again, would you be open to coming in again?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I stay up. There isn't a thing in the game I haven't done, so I stay very current on everything in the game. So
We might need someone like that because the game is almost making me want to quit these days. Okay.
okay.
All right. Thanks, listeners, and cue the chocobo.